it?
Sorry.
Just a little bit of
website is
heat to
right.
warm this up. A little bit of heat.
So on our website it's right.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. I saw both of them attached, and I thought,
I don't know.
well, the funny thing is I saw both attached, and so I text Kate early this morning, like, I hope you're coming at 9 o'clock.
Sorry.
So,
So the one on the website.
Mitch, how are you today?
Oh, what a morning.
good morning.
Good morning.
It's hard when you're off on Monday trying to get ready for the next morning.
Well,
is.
I didn't
Like,
realize
it's
that
crazy.
in my mind, commission is always the day after court. And when I realized this morning that I have both on the same day, I just went,
You're like, thank you.
I know a Monday that you're not working throws you for a loop.
Yeah.
It really does.
and then my computer at my office, it keeps going down.
She's not home.
That's not good.
No.
You
So
live in
She's
the world
not
of
in
words.
my office.
Yes. I was trying to print stuff to get here, so I had to run home and then email it to Marlena, have her print it, and Jens is supposed to bring it over.
I have stuff printed. Are you ready, Commissioner Stubbs? I have it printed if you need it.
Yeah, till Jens gets here.
Okay. So I will get back to you.
Good morning, how are you?
Pretty good, how are you?
Good.
Okay, are we ready? Okay. All right, welcome to our Board of Commissioners work session meeting. Today's date is January 20th, 2026. The time is 9:04. So I need a call to order.
Commissioner Stubbs here.
Commissioner Mon here, so we have a quorum. So we will start. Our first agenda item will be the analysis on the merging of the Monticello City Justice Court. So we'll turn the time over to our county attorney.
You want me to go down there?
You're fine here
Okay.
for the work
Well,
session,
I think
unless you
it's
want.
easier for,
Okay, is it easier for you?
to look
Well,
forward.
I guess.
It shouldn't be recorded this, so it's easy to record, won't it? I don't know.
Either way, it's fine.
This is, yeah, I've kind of outlined the issue that we're dealing with here, and so I guess maybe to save time is, where you at on this?
I've read through it. I'd love to hear if you describe it to the.
Oh, okay, sure, we can do that. Thank you, Assistant.
You're welcome.
You want to come right here?
Hey, Jens.
I don't know where Commissioner Harvey is. You can sit there or there. Either way, you're good.
All right, so to go through this, it's a little bit complicated, but currently, the way that the Justice Court has been working is, well, I guess let me back up. Number one says, right now, the Justice Court is being handled by Mr. Nilsson and myself. I am actually, the way it has worked was I was a 1099 employee of the city, where they were paying for their prosecution services. With the merging of the two courts, we've got to, that's gonna put all the services that, the prosecutorial services, into one entity that would be paid by the county. Okay, right now, there's no way to determine how much the county is spending on the Justice Court prosecutorial services, because that's just paid out of Jens and myself's salary. We should go into this with the idea that merging the two justice courts should not cost the county anything additional. And so 3 kind of goes over what I stated in 2025 and previous years. Monticello City contracted its prosecutorial work to a third party, that was me, for $1,500 a month based upon the following. 12 hours a month times $125 an hour is $1,500 a month or $18,000 annually. However, the workload that has historically been more than 12 hours a month. I believe the more appropriate figure would be boosting that up from 12 to 20 hours a month dedicated to the Justice Court, Monticello's, anyway, portion of the Justice Court's prosecutorial services. In addition, Monticello City, sorry. Let me put this on silent. Okay. Also in 2025 and previous years, that Monticello City was paying for the judge's compensation at the rate of $175 an hour. And the current conflict public defender from Monticello City also bills at $175 an hour. So I guess those are the figures that I'm proposing should be dedicated to the Monticello City's portion, bumping that up from 12 hours at $125 to 20 hours at $175 an hour. So what it involves actually is, because they're being merged, that's putting all the additional work that was heretofore done by me with Monticello City, that's moving it back over to the county's attorney's office. So we're doing all that extra work, and so I think we should be compensated for that extra work. And so the proposal would be, we talked about the 70%, 30% split. Now understand that Monticello City, that's based on, historically, Monticello City has been doing about 1/3 of the volume that the county has. And so that's, I think, where we come up for the 70-30. But the 70-30 needs to come after the Monticello City's portion of the prosecutorial services, because as it is now, they're not paying anything for those prosecutorial services. All that's being done under the county, and like I say, there's quite a bit of work that will be done by the county attorney's office. So I'm on 6 here. I think that's Monticello City should be required to pay the full amount before the 70%, 30% split. The solution is not to increase the attorney's office budget by $42,000. The reason for that, I mean, that's another way you could do it, is say, okay, we're going to increase both Jens and I's salary, but if you do that, then the county would also be paying for our benefits, which would be an additional cost to the county. So in short, I believe the best way is to have Monticello City pay the compensation as a 1099 contractor, and then the county and the city split the proceeds 70-30.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have questions?
I have some question, but can we hear from Monticello
Sure.
first and then?
Sure.
Hello.
Hi, Sylvia. Morning,
Good
everybody.
morning.
Just getting a little heat.
You're good. I'll wait for you.
I'll just text her.
No, go for it.
Or
Let's go.
just to take the edge off.
No. And I apologize. I got a new computer, so I'm re-downloading everything I thought I had.
Okay.
Thank you for the Wi-Fi. So I understand kind of course, where the county attorney's office is coming from. You guys are going to take on more expenses. But part of that is the reason why I had this contract written that it would be a 70-30 split after your expenses. Because I know right now I pay part of the judge's salary and I pay prosecuting attorneys, I pay defender attorneys. All of that is things that I've taken into account as we, the city, are already paying for those. My opinion of that would be if I'm letting you guys saying after your expenses, then we do the 70-30 split. I'm comfortable with that because then you guys can make any changes to your budgets. I know it doesn't equal the same for individuals and that makes it hard, but that's why I designed it that way so you guys could be in control. The one thing I'd struggle with if we were to pay 1099 outside of that, I would not be comfortable with the 70-30 split anymore because the city is taking on more. And originally with the 70-30 after net, we just all get a bonus check basically at the end. It's what the net revenue of everything is. The county gets 70% for taking on the headache. The city's has agreed to take 30 as the payouts after everything was settled. So I'm not expecting you guys not to take on these expenses. I know they're there. And does what I've said make sense to you guys? Sorry, I love whiteboards, but I'm struggling now because I'm wanting to write, but I don't know how to write it down. So that's my opinion of it. I understand exactly what you guys are facing here at the county and what you guys have to make those decisions with. So I'd love to hear from you guys if you have
Do you have
more
questions?
input.
Well, I guess I have one. I don't know who,
This
I
is
guess
yours.
this is mine.
This one's yours.
Okay, yeah, I appreciate your presentation. I think the question I have was why we are talking now about these things where we are so close to make a decision. And I understand the concern that attorneys have, but I think there's two issues here. The issue is the agreement between the county and the city of Monticello. And so that is probably the number one question that I feel as a commissioner I have. And I'm trying to glean from what we have presentation from our attorney today, what are the recommendations as an attorney to us as a county so that we can make a decision. I know that every time there's a merger in business, there's certain things that change. Mm-hmm. And those things will have to come after. But at this point here, I just wanted to hear, because we're making a decision that's going to affect a long time. The city of Monticello is going to be here for a long time. San Juan County will be for a long time. Us will just be part of the wall one of these days. And
More than that.
do you know what I mean? What I'm saying is this is not for today, the decision. We're making a decision for a long time. And to me, because our circumstances, we are shrinking, we need to figure out ways that we can learn how to survive together and figure out ways that we can benefit. I appreciate your work. You have, every time you have come prepared and to answer our questions. So you have explained it well from the standpoint of Monticello. And so now I just want to ask question, attorney.
I've got a question for him.
Oh, okay.
So, on the 70-30, so are you saying that you want the San Juan County to take on all the
All the operating expenses of the Justice Court.
Okay. And so if the county does that, you're okay 70-30. If the county comes back and raises Jens and I's salary.
That would be a part of that operating expense to ensure that you guys have, because I understand personnel may change and more may be needed, adjustments to work may be needed. So that's why it's written that way. And then the 70-30 split comes after you guys get all your expenses paid.
Okay. Can I ask? So let's say the commissioners decided to do what you wanted to do. And then internally, I guess, because they're taking on the added costs, the added expenses. So let's say they raise Jens and I's salary. You're still good with the 70-30%. So what is the difference between that and keeping our salary the same and you guys just 1099? I guess
So,
is my question.
on the city sides of that, there isn't really much of a difference. But at that rate, we are now paying for services, and then we're only getting 30% of those services money back. To me, and this is of course my opinion, that negates our reason for the contract to begin with to simplify the court. We're now going back into a place where we're now exchanging monies back and forth, and I may be sending 42,000 out and getting 42,000 back. It now becomes this back and forth where, by setting it up this way originally, you guys are allowed to operate however you need to, and then saying, okay, 30%. The city's going to get 25,000 this year from the Justice Court operations, and I will be fully transparent and honest with this. The advantage of us merging the Justice Court this way for the city of Monticello is the sheriff's office is the one writing our tickets. The county is also the one doing the prosecuting. Hopefully, you guys have controls there that would allow to ensure that Justice Court does operate at a proper level of income for you guys to cover all your expenses, but also bring in that extra monies at the end of the day with the Monticello Justice Court. That's kind of been my thought.
Let me ask you one other question. How do you feel about the workload that I've allocated, say the 20 hours at 175?
I feel like the 20 hours might be a little bit on the heavier side of times. I know with previous prosecutors, we've arranged, we would do catch-up payments based on the amount, and it equaled out to about 12 to 15 hours a month. But with some of those months being heavily packed on there, like especially when tourism starts up, our tickets seem to go up magically at the same time. So by that happening, the workload gets really rough in March and April. But yet January, February might be a lot slower because people aren't traveling as much. So I know that's kind of a moving one. I do know it gets above 20 during those peak season times, but the rest of the time levels out. So there's definitely, it's hard to say, but that's my experience with it.
And 175?
That's about been the rate that we've been paying from what I can gather. The judge, we've actually been paying more than that. So it just kind of depends. The judge is interesting though. They're set at salary, not hourly. So that's going to be dictated by the state anyways, based on how this merger goes and also what
Caseload.
Jim Peters' office does when they do their analysis.
Yeah, just as a point, I think the expenses for the judge will be going down quite a bit, because right now the judge was getting paid by the county and getting paid by the city. And I know for the county for this year, the county was supposed to pay the judge $68,000, and then Monticello City, I think, was 9 hours at $175. I'm not sure what that is, but so anyway, I guess my point is just the county is paying less moving forward for the judge than it has in the past, just because Judge Hazelton's been there 30 years.
Oh,
And
yeah.
so the new judge coming in
It'll do a
I
financial.
think, what is the salary range?
I don't know off the top of my head. We talked about that.
58,000, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Or was it 70,000?
No, I think it was closer to.
Anyway, that's.
I've seen the range too, and I can't remember.
For some reason, I'm thinking it was in the high 60s to 70s.
I thought it was 68.
Yeah, that's where I'm thinking it lands. So.
So it goes
I
from
have a
the
co-
part-time salary ranges $59,856 to $76,957. That's a part-time.
So.
If it were to go full-time, which the case volume doesn't allow for it, you're at 153,000 starting out.
Yeah.
Up to 197, but all of it is dictated in state code
Yes.
according to the volume of cases. That caseload is critical for it.
Commissioner Stubbs has some.
Yeah, I just have a, I don't know if a question, a comment, whatever, but what I see, that we had two issues here. We have the issue of the agreement between us and the city of Monticello. Did you feel good about that just by itself? I mean, I asking you as a attorney, did you think that is a good thing for us to do? I mean, okay,
Yes,
okay, so that's,
there's a couple of paragraphs that are contingent upon what you guys decide, but other than that, yes.
well,
There's
so,
also one.
so that's one decision. The most important decision we had to make today is that there's the secondary concern that comes from you as attorney is salary and things like that. I think that's something that had to come separate to us in a separate time. I don't want to put as a package because it looks like we put it as a package. And I'm not saying, then we can, when we have more facts, at that point, I don't know, is this part of the negotiation to negotiate salary increase? I don't even know what it's going to be like. So I figure there's two different things in my head, so I don't know.
What is your timeline on this?
So the state would. Our goal is to get this settled by the end of the month, as best as possible.
Well-
That way, we know for the new justice court judge what we need to do from there. You are right. There are two separate issues, but they will lean on each other, which makes it difficult. So, if I understand right, you guys have already set your budget for the new year, correct?
Correct.
It's been adopted.
Yes, it has been
So,
adopted.
with that being in mind, you guys would have to do a budget adjustment. But the question comes to what that adjustment will be based on our agreement.
Yeah, they are one and the same because you can't approve the contract without just approving what's going to be in the contract. So, yeah, it's not two separate things.
So I guess this is the way I see it, and if this works with both of you. First of all, I know this information came to us early in December because you did email it to us, so we did have time to look at it. But the way I see it is if we are comfortable with a 70-30 split after expenses, I don't know that we need to do a separate thing with yours. We accept the contract from Monticello City with the conditions that we've agreed upon, but also increasing, because of the workload, it's $50 an hour. So that would be the increase, because you're at 125, correct? An hour?
Yes.
So it'd go to 175. So it'd be an increase of $50 an hour. We would have to do a budget amendment to compensate for the extra workload.
So
But that would be a whole, but that budget amendment would be separate. I don't know we need a different contract at all. We just keep the same contract, 70-30 split, and we would go from there with the idea that we would compensate for the additional hours. And you're both comfortable with that? Well, it would, when the split comes out, then you would be compensated from 125 to 175 for your city hours. Because that's what you're asking in this, correct?
Well, yeah, but the only way to do that would be through salary increase for Jensen and myself.
Right, but because that you're talking about a separate, and then but you were comfortable with that and feeling like that's what the county attorney should be making. That's what you're paying anyway. So that would compensate for those extra hours of the city at 175 through this merger contract. I mean, I shouldn't say it's not spelled out in the merging contract, but what it is it says 70-30 split. The county would compensate with what is left over for that additional workload.
I'm following where you're going, and yes, that is a possibility. It's something because once this contract signed, I won't have say into that matter.
Right.
And so, from my viewpoint, yes, that would solve it. And even if once you get going, you guys do an analysis of the prosecuting cases coming in from the city versus the county, and then divide it out and go, oh wait, we need to be
Sure.
adjusting that expense more, because it's all going to come down to your guys' expense tracking after this contract signed. And that's where you guys will have to look at all the caseloads coming in and all the expenses going out and go, okay, if we take all of our caseloads, divide it out, I'm just doing what I would if you wanted to do it simply, it's costing an extra $50,000 to run this for this city of Monticello. But if you were to start with that point, that would be a way to get you through the first year.
So
And it does
do we have
compensate.
to have the two attorneys increase salary? I mean, I don't
Only
know.
for their city work. For their city work. So what you're gonna do is
Okay.
you're gonna increase them to 175 an hour, and it's for taking on the additional load for the city. So that way this proposal right here is not necessarily separate. What it does is we seal up the contract with the city. They pay the 30%, and then we bump their salary because they took on the additional work of the
You better
city.
negotiate a cap on how much
So-
the county can raise it.
Yeah.
Your 30 is going to go down.
Anyway,
Well,
um,
and that's the danger side for the city in this, because there is I didn't put a cap because there's two ways this could go. If the Justice Court operates and the Sheriff's Office operates at maximum capacity, we're both going to benefit from it. But if one operates at minimal capacity, it's going to start to hurt. And that's one thing that's not spelled out here that I want to make clear. If for any reason the tickets drop and the money doesn't come out, there is no clause that would require the city to come in and pay the remaining amount. That would be an expense the county would take on their own.
So that's why wouldn't you just take the additional from 125 to 175 only on the city work?
There's not a system, we don't have a system to where we can make that adjustment to where they're only, say they're 5 hours a week in Polaris, and you get 175 at 5 hours at this URS rate. I think you're,
I mean, if
There's
that's
not
too in the
a
weeds,
feature,
but I
yeah.
guess what I'm thinking is you know what you average. You've thought this through. You've already looked through it. It's not like you're going to drop the ball. We're not going to drop the ball. I mean, the thing is, in my mind,
We have
we're
any
really
comments?
thinking it's 20 hours more a week
up to 12,
up to
12
12.
to 20.
to
Yep.
20. I mean, we know the average.
Mhm.
So I guess what I'm saying is we just say, okay, here you go. You're taking on the extra work, but it is going to be compensated. And maybe I'm wrong on this, but it will be compensated. The county does take it on, but it is compensated through that 30% that's coming over.
The 70%.
The 70
I mean, the
cent.
70%.
Right.
Yes, it is still compensated. It's not like we're taking new money to pay. It's coming through that 70%.
Because all of our monies will then flow into you guys at that
Yes.
point.
And
So
it does
Here's
cover
the
you.
issue with doing that, because if you bump up our salaries, then with the 70-30 split, by bumping up our salaries, the county is paying 70% of that, and the city's only paying 30%. Whereas the city should be paying 100% of the bump up, because that's the value of the extra work that will be required. So if you say, okay, we're going to adjust the salaries and still do the 70-30% split, well, by adjusting the salaries, San Juan County's paying 70% of what they're already paying. and the city's only paying 30% of that.
But I thought Caden, in figuring that out, kind of covered that with the 70%. Is that not correct? That's what I understood from you.
Well,
The 70% could cover.
and the 70% is separate actually.
Yes.
So what I'm proposing is you're going to take all of Monticello City's monies.
All of the fines collected.
All fines collected are coming into the San Juan County. You now have to pay your attorneys, the judge, your clerks a little bit more to handle the extra workload, whatever that number is. I don't want the 70-30 split to happen until after you've made all those payments. You paid for the judge, you paid for everything,
Yeah.
and then went, okay, the court made, and I'm just doing round numbers for easy, 100,000 excess this year for Monticello Justice Court. Then we split whatever's remaining.
Yeah.
So you guys walk away with an extra 70,000, we walk away with 30,000, and the court's 100% already been paid for.
That makes sense because that would already cover your salary in that.
Mhm.
And all those expenses are paid out,
Of
and they
fines
only get their
collected.
30 after you're compensated.
So as the expenses goes up, our, I'm going to call it take-home money just for ease of, our take-home money for the city and the county drops, but we acknowledge that drops because we got to pay for
Yeah.
the service in the initial.
So it doesn't come out of just the tickets. It comes out of everything being paid first. So if your salaries increase, it comes out of all that being paid, and then then they're 30% of everything being paid.
Well, yeah.
Does that make? You good or not good on that?
Yeah, that makes
That
sense.
makes sense to me.
Do you think
That
we
makes
should
sense to
put
you.
caps
Well-
in for both of us?
Well, that's why I was joking about that because, the county did make a decision to make some kind of a budget change, then your 30% is a different 30 than what,
hmm
initially proposed. But I think the county and the city have enough trust and connection that if we need to revisit it, I'm sure we can, and everybody will be fair and it'll be fine.
And
And it looks, to me, it looks better because it looks something's going to be taken care after when you guys know the money. It doesn't look like here we're trying to give somebody a salary. It makes the decision of the agreement, and then we kind of clarify. So, Mac, I
Yeah,
trust
so-
Mac has lots of knowledge on this stuff, and so I
It's a
feel
bucket.
like we
So
can.
it's just putting
Yeah.
the money. So we would have the fines and fees coming into the county's bucket right now. We would pay the operational costs, whatever they are, and they can be adjusted in the future for salary increases or whatever that burden is through a budget adjustment. But at the end of the day, you will be able to see that bucket coming in and how much it came in. Because at the end of the day, for me, we've got to be transparent with this process of
Yeah.
transferring, because Monticello could at any time come in and take it back and say, okay, this isn't working for us. County, you just charge us for a brand new Porsche, out of your operation cost. Well, you just
Yeah.
throw the hypotheticals in there, but I think this keeps it
I can
all
drive at 70-30.
transparent and clear. Yeah, totally.
that doesn't sound
Yeah,
too bad.
but it keeps it all on the up and up. And then what the county does with the salaries and, public defense, things like that, will come out of that operational fund anyways. And so,
So we just.
I guess my issue is this. Is right now the county is paying Gents and I to do the justice court
Mhm.
stuff. And so we're getting paid a portion of our salary to do that. The city is not paying anything for prosecutorial services. But the county is, so if we bump it up and have the county pay for that, then the county, that bump up is the portion that's attributable to Monticello City. If we bump it up, then the county is now paying 70% more up for prosecution services. And the city's only and the city will be getting 30%.
Which I see that argument as well, but I guess what I'm thinking is regardless, if we bump it up, it's paid somewhere,
it's paid by the
but we
fines.
get all the monies first.
Yep.
So with the monies first, they're going to get less because in my mind, I'm looking at it, we're just not doing a check here, a check here, a check here, a check here. It's all the monies, and then because they're going to get less if we bump you up, because that comes out of their 30%. That they do get less at that point, because we have agreed to bump you both up to cover that addition, and it's just really what's left over is what you get.
Exactly.
You after we cover everything, and if it costs us more to have their increase for the workload to be compensated, then you just get less.
Right.
That's the way I'm looking at it.
And part of the thing that I'm looking at is you're now doing operation more in bulk, where I've been doing minimal. So things may actually end up being cheaper in the long run because your caseload, yes, it's going up. There's going to be more cases, but your judge is already handling those cases.
Sure.
It becomes more of a, I don't know.
Should be some efficiencies. with
Yes,
this.
the efficiencies. I'm glad you saw where I was going with that one.
Well, can we, do you have any problem just agreeing to the compensation? Or is that something the
No.
county wants to do?
We would have to do that on our
In
side
other
of it.
words, I guess at least we could, if it's between 12 and 20, and 175, could we just do 17 hours at $175 a month?
Well, we just bump you to 175 regardless, but then we cap the hours
Out.
at either 20
Well,
or
I don't wanna have to
17.
be taking, I don't wanna have to be keeping track of my hours
Yeah,
doing that.
yeah. I mean,
So I would just, I would like to see, I think we agree 175 is a good hourly wage, good, yeah. It's 12 and 20, I'm willing
Sure.
to say, okay, let's do 17.
I see where and the reason why I'm leaving this in the county's hands is because you guys have your own operating budgets. Mine are different than yours, and I don't want to tell you how to run them. But one thing I would probably consider is once this happens, do a comparison as your workload goes up and go, okay, and then do the calculations based on that. I do agree where you're coming from. The hard part is if, say, Monticello's tickets go down, you now don't have a tracking mechanism with it, and it's hard to track that. So I track it based on the cases, because those are hard things that you know where they're coming from, and you can just say, okay, it cost us $160,000 to operate. We had 160 cases. That's $1,000 a case, and then charge from there. I would hope not, but I don't know.
but one quick question, Mac. Do you look at this as a budget adjustment or as an
It is.
expense?
It'll be a budget adjustment on
Not
both
not
sides.
an expense, because it's kind of run like a business
So
in a way.
anytime you adjust the county attorney's pay, you have a public hearing, and
Yeah.
so you have that adoption that you have to go through to adjust the salary side of it. But then we also have to, once this is approved, we also have to anticipate that new revenue coming into our
Right.
budget and trickling down
Oh,
through
okay.
operations. And
Okay.
so there's the budget adjustment side of it as well as the salary
Okay.
side of
One,
it. that happens later.
I'm glad that, we clarify lots of things. One thing I want to make a point, the city of Monticello can decide we don't want to do it. And you go, and you also can decide we don't want to hire the people that was working for us before. So at that point, we had to have a budget adjustment at that time where whatever the increase was, because now we dissolved the partnership and they decide to hire somebody else, another whatever. So in a way, it's not a guarantee that the salary is going to keep going. And so I think we had to kind of clarify that as we do that. But anyway, I like the comments Commissioner Mom made earlier, and what Mark had to say, what Joshua had to say, and we understand where you're coming from. But I think that for us now is to make the decision to take the first step as to what we're going to do. And I know that this pressing time for us to make this decision. There's people that are being interviewed for positions that they don't know if they're going to do 2 courts or 1 court or whatever. And I think it's very important for us to meet those deadlines that I know that James Peters is waiting for us to make a decision either way, which way we're gonna go. But I appreciate, you know, the concerns, but I know that we can work this out after and go through the procedures that was
So I
mentioned.
don't have a problem with this if you're both okay with this. I mean, of course, we won't make a decision in this meeting, it'll be in the next, but one thing I do have is on the draft.
Mm-hmm.
Number 4, we have a 30-60 split.
Yep, we
I
caught that
did
as
see
well.
it. Okay.
And the other thing that was not in there that I needed to make sure you guys understood was of all net revenue.
Okay.
It did not specify that. I had implied it in every meeting, but it wasn't in the contract.
Well, it says treasure of all net revenue. I do see that.
I added that and
Oh,
forgot
okay.
to change the number
The
from
number. Okay.
to 60 to 70. So that was on me. That's why I said there is a mistake.
Okay.
And Attorney Mon let me know that. And so I was like, oh, so what I will do
And then
is
your mayor. You'll need to change
Oh.
that as well.
I got your guys' updated. I was on a good roll with this, except for those.
Those are my only things.
That's just fine. I will get those updated and sent over for the next meeting with any of those changes, just so we have current documents. And then it'll, the thing is, we as a city won't be able to sign until next Tuesday. But so far, talking with the council last meeting, they've been happy with this agreement. Our 3070 was our kind of stop point. So I'm glad we were able to negotiate through that and come with a good conclusion for us. So
Okay.
thank you guys.
Thanks.
Thank you.
So I see approving this, and then we will work on that piece with the budget.
we will have to.
Okay. We good with that?
Hmm.
Okay.
And if you need me for any of that, just call me up. I'll come help with it.
Well,
However I
just
can.
Okay.
one last comment. We do need to get this wrapped up because we've got justice court cases.
I think
Mhm.
we could we
Today you
approve
have it on
today
there?
it's on our agenda. I think we could approve, but of course we know the draft has to be fixed.
Well,
So-
and I'll
He'll
fix
fix
the
that.
draft in between meetings. 'Cause
Oh,
I'll
You can bring it
have
back
some
and it
time.
can be signed.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
you guys will be able to review and sign, and then
Okay.
council won't have their next meeting till next Tuesday, and they'll review and sign in that meeting.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
we've got to get our justice court judge process like
Yeah.
after today
Yes.
finished up. So thank
So-
you.
Thank you.
Thank you guys.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Our economic recovery core UNA is starting at 10:15. So we are bumping down to the draft policies and procedures. So go ahead with your 2, and then we'll stop at 10:15 for them.
Okay, well, everybody has a copy, right?
Yes.
There's 2 sections, section 206 and 207, which actually are outdated section numbers. But I don't know how the commission wants to, this is the draft that was sent over by Johnny Miller. You've had it for some time now. I don't know what your preference would be if you want to go through this paragraph by paragraph. Okay.
What do you when we looked at this when Commissioner Stubbs brought this? Is there any recommendations you see with the red lining that you would change, or you would recommend we don't follow, or do follow, or because we did even have some things outlined in yellow.
Yeah, so red line or yellow?
Both,
Highlight.
both.
No, I think the red lines, it doesn't help that every page is number 14.
That's true.
I think the big changes are on page 14. Actually, section D, duties of the chair and vice chair.
Hold on, where are you at?
Let me, I know. Let me try to figure
Sections
out
of
where
that's
What's
okay.
in the yellow?
One second. I want to go. If this is before, if you don't mind. I
you
see
have-
where you're at.
You do have page numbers, don't you?
Yeah, mine are.
Mine don't after a certain point. They're all 14. Go this way, Mac. Sorry. I think it's about page 5. No, go way back. or go,
Back up.
yes, go back up. I think it's page like 5, 4 or 5.
Well, let's do this. Let's just go by the section number. So, section A is
Right.
definitions.
Right there. Right there.
All right.
Yep.
Okay, so D, duties of the chair. I don't know. I don't know that we need any changes there. It says the chair has no veto power over official actions and no special substantive authority. So basically, the duties of the chair are just pretty much ceremonial, and to provide guidance and advice, to set the agenda and to conduct the meetings.
Okay. I have one question. With, okay, yes. So these changes have been made. Okay.
So
All right.
that's my question. Who made the changes from this copy to this copy?
Because I think we asked Johnny to change those.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
so
Johnny
who-
Miller made
I
Yeah,
mean,
so
who
I-
mean we asked him?
This was so long ago. I don't know. I think what we did is after we met with him,
Well, we had the training,
we agreed to.
and we
take
were
out
gonna
this.
get back with him and go back and review, but that hasn't happened. So I was just curious if it's anybody else that worked on this document in between what we had with
No. No. So
with
this,
Johnny.
This is so Johnny's knows our county pretty well. He knows the issues with our county, and these changes were made by him, and there's specific changes, I think, just for San Juan County because of the issues that we've been having, but.
I think he took our red line. I think he did exactly that. I think he took, after he met with us, I think he took this. We didn't really.
We only had a lecture with him when he came and present the lecture, and we were supposed to get together with him and talk, and I would prefer to do that.
Well, I think what we need to do so that he doesn't have to come down just as, I think
Well-
we have two choices. We can either take so what he did is he gave us this one first with all the red line, and then what he did is he went in and took the red line and made those changes, so we can go from that document now and read it and go back through, because that's what I did. I went back through and saw the red line and where he had made
Well,
those changes, and that's the
But-
feedback we need to give him.
okay, so somehow, I don't know, I feel like I missed a step, and I feel like we pay good money for Johnny, and he can be online, and we can go from the red and see why he made the changes. It'd be nice for us to understand why it went from the red to this format.
Because if I remember right in our discussion, he said the red is what made, I shouldn't say made the most sense. It's what flowed the best without taking out.
Well, let me say this. We're here in a work meeting.
Yeah.
This is a draft of what we eventually, that we want to start working from. Okay? So no decisions have been made about anything.
Okay.
Nothing's been done.
So it's not coming before us.
And it
No.
is the prerogative of the legislative committee, you guys, to come up with these policies and procedures. I don't know that Johnny wants to get any more involved. He's looked at this thing 3 or 4 times. These are his suggestions. And so I think it's up to the commission to go through these and decide what we want and what you guys don't want. In my opinion, I've read through this. I don't have any problems with anything that's in here. It's just formalizing and codifying what we're kind of already doing. So, I think we've got to move this along. It's just policies and procedures on how to run this meeting. It's not, a complicated or,
So I have a couple of things I want to bring up. Mac, if you can go to page 14, but I don't know that it's really 14. It's section I,
Section I?
on agenda. So see the yellow where it talks about, I wonder if we need to make sure that that works for everyone. Is that okay? Is that
Yes,
what you want
yeah,
to do?
yeah.
Okay. So county administrator items proposed for, not later than 5 p.m. on the Thursday before the commission meeting. Does that give enough time, or do we need to bump that up to a Wednesday? Does that work for everyone?
I think it works for most departments. You'll always get the one-offs that Friday, you'll receive a call, hey Mac, we need this on the agenda, and so, but I think this is just as a working with the departments, this has been pretty fluid and
Okay,
easy to
and
meet.
B works as well for receipt by 5 p.m. on the Thursday prior to a regular meeting. That works for everyone. That was my question.
wait a second. So back up on A.
A?
I,
Oh,
Right.
right here.
Yeah.
Section I, number 2A.
Uh-huh.
Items for the agenda must be delivered to MAC by not later than noon on Thursday. Can we change that to 5 p.m.? That's what we have been doing, isn't it?
Oh no,
It's
it
5.
it is changed to 5
It's
p.m.
on 5 p.m.
I must have
The older copy.
You're
Yeah,
looking
it
at
is.
page 14.
So
Don't look at page
actually,
14 anymore.
I know this is our working document because that was the suggestion I put in. I know that's why he made that, because we requested 5 p.m. instead of noon, because I have that
on
note.
Thursday.
Yes.
Somebody got a pen?
Can you go down to number 4, Mac?
Nice catch.
We thought about removing that packet preparation. Do we need that in there?
When you say we, who, you say we decided?
I remember when Johnny was here and he asked us to go through, so I went through and made changes, because the changes are made, because I have my notes here. This is my original. And when we talked about it, I said, hey, let's talk about this. And obviously that change was made.
So how many times we met with Johnny?
Well, Johnny met once,
Just
but
that one
it was a
time.
work session and we talked about those changes when we were doing, so either,
Well, he was down here a second time when we
Yes.
talked about it as well.
I don't remember a second time.
So back up on 2B. Sorry, I'm behind because I must have the copy that the changes aren't made. So on 2B, request for inclusion and supporting documentation must be received by the same time,
5 p.m.
on Thursday.
That's what I have on here.
Okay.
okay.
I guess Craig's handling the cases, huh?
Packet preparation and dissemination, does that, my question was, did that need to stay in there?
On what number?
Cause this is for the commission, does the packet preparation dissemination, number 4, did that really need to be in there? We were trying to simplify it. Do we need to
All
say
this does
why it's
is
in there?
just make sure that I push it out to you well in advance.
We'll just put, if Mac doesn't push it out.
You'd be
I don't know.
screaming.
I mean, if we need it in there, I'll
Just
keep
scream
it
it
in
on
there. I
Sunday.
just didn't know
So-
we needed to keep it in there.
A lot of, I mean, for us, the not less than 24 hours, that, especially on a large packet, it kind of does a disservice to you if it's just the 24 hours.
What if
so,
we just kept B?
so I can go through here and just
That it just
See
that we
what
needed
makes
24
sense.
hours. Can we just
Yeah.
do B and C that it's posted on the website?
new coming in here, I would send it to you Sunday night. And so to me, we try to get them out on Friday, push them to you so you have the weekend to look at them.
Okay, it's
So
not
there's-
that big a deal. I mean, we can keep that paragraph because we're all going to review this again
Yep.
anyway to see what we want.
Yeah, and I think it's good to have that in there just
Okay.
because it.
See that work session items and procedure? I thought we were gonna separate or move it into 207, the other document. The
Yeah.
what is it, the resolution one?
So you have 206 and
'Cause
207.
we didn't need it in both places was what I remember we talked about.
So if the one is supposed to be how you operate in a meeting and setting up the meeting, then this one is more administrative. So if 206 is supposed to be more of your administrative policy rather than your meeting policy, I don't know if that's been separated out.
Well, I
yet.
don't think we need it to repeat, so can we make sure, can you check on that?
Just make it one document.
Well, Jay,
That it's a
the work
206
session
and-
item and procedure, which should it be in the commission's policies and procedures or the resolution of the rules?
Okay.
I didn't think it needed to be in both. We had that, we talked about that.
Yeah.
That's why I haven't.
So
written
when
it
you
down.
say
I
we
will
join
check into
him,
that.
No, it was in the meeting with Johnny. That's why I wrote those notes, because he talked to us about it.
okay.
Yeah, I wrote those notes with Johnny. Because I did not. And then P. Will you go to P? No, I've never met with him over this since with meeting with Johnny.
So was Commissioner Harvey there in that meeting?
I think so.
Was I in that meeting, the second meeting?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We all
There was-
met with him. It was
Well-
not me by myself.
Well, I remember when he came and gave us the lecture and we talked about things like that, but
Training and everything. Was it during
Well,
the training? Laura?
Well,
yeah.
this is not
It was
Johnny's
actually-
responsibility. This is the commission's
Yeah,
responsibility.
this is ours. to
This
figure
is
out.
305. It says the legislative body may make and enforce regulations for the government of the legislative body, the preservation of order, and the transaction of business. Okay, so that's under the one section. Under the other section, it says each meeting of the legislative body shall comply with Title 52, Chapter 4, Open and Public Meetings Act, subject to subsection 2B. A legislative body shall. That's the difference between the first one says may, this one says shall. Shall make or adopt rules of order and procedure to govern a public meeting of the legislative body. Conduct a public meeting in accordance with the rules of order and procedure described in the previous section. So this is the duties of the legislative body, which is you guys.
So, and this is not something we're passing. This is our work session, and then it will come back to us again to go back through all those changes that we're talking about. So, number
This
Q4.
yeah.
Sorry.
I think we're doing most of these things. We just have to have it codified.
And they've got to be separated out.
y-
Different
yeah,
functions,
and-
Just to
yeah.
separate them.
And so, there's, like I say, this kind of clarifies in case there is any little
And
issues.
takes out excess language.
It's
so-
pretty comprehensive. It's pretty much follows a lot of the statutes or the rules of order and procedure. I don't.
So I guess this is what so after we get done with these two documents, it will come back to us. Will you double check and make sure the changes are made? You'll send them back to us. We'll have time to review them again. Come
And,
with your questions again.
and I think at some point we need to have Johnny look at it too.
He
to see
will.
if-
Yeah, he will.
He
will.
will at the end of
Okay,
the day.
but
I'll go back and look at it
yeah,
and send
but
it.
we all should be included. That's what I'm saying. So anyway,
I can't include you all because
What'll happen
Well,
is
It's administrative.
so what I want us to do is after we get done with this session right now with the attorney, he'll go make the changes that we just talked about. He'll send us a new draft, take the draft and read it, and go back through and see any changes you want to make. Then send them back to him. You, in fact, can't you show us the red line, like where Commissioner Stubbs made
yeah.
the change?
Yeah.
And then anything we want to talk about again, we can keep bringing this back for the next month or so, 2 months,
Well,
until we get it figured out. But
yeah,
we
but
have to. But
this is something that's, been 6 months.
Yeah.
We need to get it done.
can you go to
One thing we have to understand is
Q4?
the next 6 or 7 weeks is very busy for us.
Yeah.
And so
Oh, right there.
it may not happen before that just because we are, anyway, but
Let me just check this one. Waiver by.
I think the yellow was
Yellow.
supposed to be pulled out of the commission and placed into the administrative code. And so I think that's where these were highlighted that needed to be removed out of yours.
Okay. So
Um,
participation by the public.
Okay, so the 3-minute rule. No person in the public shall speak more than 3 minutes except upon waiver by the chair or on motion of the commission. We talked about it had to be motion of the commission.
Okay. Which one is that?
Number 4.
for,
Q. 4.
No person shall speak more than 3 minutes except upon waiver by the chair or on motion of the commission.
Motion by the commission.
Okay. Upon motion by the commission.
Okay. So can you double check the yellow
Uh-huh.
and can you see if those go into
Yes. Yes.
this one?
Yeah, and again, I apologize. I should have.
Well, we kind of left it for a while. We forgot
So-
what we were
Yeah.
doing.
Yeah, I will go and
can we correct the page numbers too? Because it is so confusing trying to figure out.
yes, we will correct the page.
Because I don't think we
So
need
so
everything
here's
duplicated.
if I understand you right, I will go back and with in consultation with Johnny, I will I will recommend with the help of Johnny which of these should go in the one document, which should go in the other document. I will format it and reorganize it. And if you guys have any comments, questions, and so I'll send it to you after Johnny and I have looked at it and made changes. Please read through it, and you can send me questions, Johnny and I questions, and hopefully, we can get this sorted out and get the thing passed.
Can
And we'll
you-
have opportunity to see Johnny during the legislature too, that we can
Yeah.
talk to him.
Could you
in
think is 2 weeks sufficient for you to
Yes,
get it back
yeah.
to us?
Uh-huh,
Okay, so we'll put a 2-week time frame
Yeah.
on it
yeah, we need to
for
get this
both
done.
of these to be back to us for review, and then hopefully we could adopt them within the next 30 days-ish.
Okay.
Does that work?
Mhm.
Does that work for
Mhm.
you? Okay. All right. Anything
Okay.
else? Okay. Thank you.
You bet.
How are you guys?
Thank you.
We're glad you're here with us.
Or we
Okay.
passed it. So you'll
Oh, yeah.
be here?
Yeah.
I don't think I have anything on the agenda, do I?
You
Kelly,
do,
you do,
you
yeah.
have the
Let me go see where Tally's at, 'cause
Monticello
I know she picked her head in.
contract and
So,
then,
let me grab her.
but he could,
I
Steal
don't
my
know
pen.
that I need to be here for that.
And you might sweat in here or you'll
Don't
freeze to
spend-
death. It's one or the other.
I think we're just
You
gonna
don't give
approve
up.
it.
you have that
Sure.
executive session on there.
Yeah, you have any
So-
question,
Do you know the answers?
Yeah, I got him.
Uh,
Yeah, we'll see.
I know.
And
You'll
don't steal
see,
his
huh?
pen.
Yeah, I can't take the pen.
Let me give you,
Oh, Jeds. Hey, it's my favorite.
That's a good pen.
So that we have.
there's the justice.
Oh.
All right.
How'd you-
I know.
In the back.
Mac.
All right, so this next one Yeah. Do we have this presentation right here? Number
So I
2?
think there's a meeting after commission.
Okay.
Will you text me when commission meeting is over? I'll come over.
I think they understand that the county is supposed to pay the bill for that area, the foundation.
Mhm.
So they turn it to you,
Yeah. The expenditures and the
yeah,
checks.
and then,
They would submit the check to us,
okay.
to the county, and then the county would just disperse the funds wherever the invoices come in at.
We don't have to pay it first.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
So that's the thing I wanna cover.
Okay.
How's it going? Nice to see you guys. So how things going?
Good. It's busy.
That's good. I was on a chapter meeting in Navajo Mountain and they were talking about becoming more new customers.
Yeah, good. Good.
Anyways,
Yeah, my crew's coming down this week.
Lyman,
Hey, how are you doing?
what are our keepers gonna do?
I like everything that you see.
That,
The tech loss was tough.
You guys are still rolling live as well.
It's
Just
almost
so
a
you're
good thing to
aware.
have it now.
Yeah.
It doesn't really matter. You just want to play your best ball when you can tournament. Sometimes that early loss is good for you.
Yeah.
Plus, it'll fire them up.
Number
I
11.
think that I mean, those guys could have
You're still
thrown it over
rolling.
their head backwards. And
Yeah.
Still in a meeting.
that was a game where everything was going for them.
Okay,
It just-
It's home game.
All right,
I think
we
we
ready?
really should go.
good things. It's just everything's.
We
good,
ready?
you know, it just
Okay, Commissioner Stubbs, are you ready?
comes and goes quick, so I just don't want any more.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Una, you can come up you get the pulpit. I know, I'm sorry, we can turn the heat back down.
Did you? Oh, I thought that's where you went.
Oh, no, I went to get Talia. Cause remember 10:15, and then the 9, the time, I had to go grab her. Yes, I know we had a little. It either, I'm not kidding, you either freeze to death in here the minute it goes off, and then it gets so cold, and then it kicks on, everybody sweats, and then, but we could turn it down. Do you mind, Mac? Thank you.
It's all good.
Welcome. We're glad you're here. And
Thank you.
Serta, our team
Yeah.
Serta,
Yeah.
and Talia, thank you. You get the floor.
Okay. So I am here to introduce myself and kind of bring everybody up to speed. My name is Una Workaba. You won't be expected to know how to spell that or even repeat it if you don't need to. I'm really easy about responding to anything. I'm not worried about my name and mispronunciation. So several years ago, the county applied for a grant through a new program under the EDA called ERC, Economic Recovery Corps. And that application was submitted along with, I don't even know how many thousands of other applications from across the country. And every state ended up being awarded a project to be completed under this grant concept, which was new at the time. And here, congratulations, San Juan County won that award. So the idea was you presented a project. That project was around housing, and then in that award, what makes this grant so unusual is that you were also awarded a person to complete that project for you. So at that time, you ended up having a fellow is the term, came to you to start working on that project, working with Talia and working with Mac and the community. I don't know anything about what was happening at that time. I don't have any information on that project other than the conversations I've had since I came on board. So in approximately June of last year, that particular person went away, and it was decided through the ERC federal system and through the county that you would find another person to come forward, even though there was only a short amount of time still left on that project. So technically, the ERC program would be ending in June of this year. But because of that little hiccup, this new person, which ended up being me, will have until early October to complete the project. So about a year instead of having the full 2.5 years that was originally on plan. So I'm not from here. However, some of you may or may not know about McElmo Canyon, which is right down the road a bit. It kind of straddles Colorado and Utah. I owned a business in McElmo for a good chunk of years, about 2 decades ago, which makes me sound really old. Anyways, so I am really familiar with the region. I was also the economic development director along the I-40 corridor in Arizona. So I've worked really closely with the Hopi and the Navajo tribes and familiar with those challenges as well. So I got here from Seattle early October, and Talia and Mac and I met several times. I really needed to get up to speed with the community and all the different entities that are here, and what that means for housing and developments, and getting brought up to speed on different processes that are already in place. And that's what I've actively been doing. And in those conversations, it became pretty apparent that to have a sustainable and equitable housing strategy moving forward, that it would be really difficult for San Juan County to be able to sustain that concept after my time is done, because I'm only paid for through October. So in having numerous conversations, I had suggested, with conversations with CERTA and with Mac and Talia, as well as with the ERC team in Washington, D.C., that it might make more sense for the project lead to be CERTA instead, because all of the resources that are needed to put together a housing toolbox, which is my plan, as well as a housing foundation to assist not only with people that are in apartments and that are in homes that need down payment assistance, but also for developers and contractors, to kind of bring everyone together, that it needed to be more of a regional effort. Everyone down here in southeastern Utah has the same challenges that they have to overcome. Same conversations I had actually in Cortez and in Dolores and Mancos. They're all dealing with the same problem. You're very rural, and your states, sadly, are not necessarily helping your situation, which is what hopefully this concept will pull forward. So that's why I'm here today, to bring you up to date on that in the past week, a contract has been signed. And so San Juan County is technically not the project lead any longer, but CERTA is. These folks came with me today, Jade and Chris, to answer any questions as well. I'll let you know that you are all invited. I have sent out an invitation, I believe, to Lori and to Mac and Talia, that on February 13th, we're going to be having a housing roundtable in Blanding at the USU campus. We'll be doing another one, and that is for Grand in San Juan County. We'll be doing another one for Carbon in Emery County in early April at the CERTA office in Price. I encourage you to attend that one as well, in addition to coming on the 13th if you can. And the idea is really to bring together all of these stakeholders that have something to do with housing. The hospital, the larger employees in the area, the contractors, the developers, the planners, cities, counties, all in one room together, to have a conversation in one space where you're all hearing the same questions and the same answers, so that I can have a much better understanding of what the hoops are and what the challenges are that everyone is trying to work through, so that I can put together this, again, this housing toolbox, which would be a solution, I'm hoping, to allow for ease of access to all of the different avenues of funding streams, entities that are out there, services that are available, and to make it easier for those hiccups that are happening currently to go from needing housing and actually having housing. So happy to answer questions. And again, of course, Jade and Chris are here to answer questions as well. Of course, Talia is at your service all the time, as is Mac, to help. But I'm really just here to make sure that we are being transparent and to answer questions and to get your feedback as well, because you live here.
Now, you said February 13th?
Correct.
I think I told you we're still,
Yes.
I was looking legislative session. But we will have representatives from our county that can help and have the input, correct? Okay. Did you have some questions?
I have a comment. What you're doing is something that I thought would be a good project. I did talk to Talia about having the type of meeting that you're having. I think it's a very, very important thing to have, to know our resources and what's what. And so I appreciate that you're doing that, because it's something that I talked to Talia about wanting to do, and invite not only local people, but also from the outside, not contractors or whoever. It's just that, because sometimes one person may know one component, because it's not just one simple solution with housing. And that's one of my main goals, is to figure out housing for the county. And it's always different barriers. We have the part of the county is the reservation. People want housing, but they don't own the land. The ones that own the land inside the reservation, they go and get a normal, traditional loan from a bank. And then comes a time where, for some reason, like lots of people do in the real, in our world, you get behind, and pretty soon it's time for the bank come and takes your home. And so they don't understand that you don't give the money back, that you pay to it. They don't understand that the property is no longer your property, even though it have been in the family for generations. And so we have the educational part to explain how things work. In this side of the county, we had 2 nations that we had to operate our county. So then we have, when we think about affordable homes, nowadays not the dream home in the olden days when everybody had the American dream. Now an affordable home is a home that a roof over your head that can facilitate a place for you to live while you go to work, and they can be affordable. And there's people want big house, people want little house, and so it is so complicated, our needs. And so I'm glad that you're doing this project, because I think we'll give more answers. We had done the house survey that was done a couple years ago, and that had given lots of answers to us. But I think it's another step, the one you're taking right now, and it's something that is very needed. I think having contractors, we have lots of our contractors, they leave town and they go work in Colorado, other areas, because they can find projects there that we don't have here. So I think I think it's a good opportunity. The sort of probably they're going to put all the housing money under one roof, and it's nice if we can have sort of be in charge of that, so we have one stop. You see, the distance of San Juan County for us to go and trying to find everything was available for us, it takes hours and traveling and things like that. But having everything under one roof, I think is going to benefit us as a county. So thank you, and we welcome to San Juan County.
Yeah, absolutely. I believe that having synergy around this, because again, San Juan County has the same challenges that Grand County and Emmer County and Carbon County have sharing those resources as well, knowing what everyone is doing, so that we can maybe tap into those resources as say an apartment complex is completed in Green River, and that developer maybe has come down from Salt Lake or from Denver. They're already here now. They already have the infrastructure. Knowing about that and that build out, and already now making a relationship with them, maybe now they've now come down to Blanding or to Monticello to do something similar, because they're already here and they're already starting to become embedded. And that includes creating an educational and workforce background, so that you're not just building homes, but you're also providing the tools for the services those houses need, and building a workforce around them with living wage jobs. All of it is very much tied together. And I do feel quite strongly that if all of this region works together with actionable steps, that it would be much stronger in the long run across the board. Again, long after this ERC project is done.
So I have a couple follow-up things. And of course, how this looks for CERTA. So we get the toolbox and you leave. Is it going to be in document form, resource form? Is it going to be, we have a plan, we have a project going forward where we have all the buy-in with the counties? I mean, how does this, we get the resources, but then we don't want them sitting on the shelf.
Yeah,
What is it? Yeah. Tell me, Jade, what does this look like going forward?
I don't know.
At least you're honest about it.
That is one thing in the updated scope of work, which is basically the same scope of work that Talia and Mac and Talia wrote, but a couple of the deliverables that we put was the toolbox, identifying an entity or an agency to house the toolbox, which will probably end up being CERTA or one of the nonprofits that we run. Talking about the toolbox, I think we've always talked about it being a website or a landing page that we can direct everyone to. So whether that's on CERTA's website or we build a totally different website, I don't know yet. But
Could there be a committee formed? I mean, Chris, you know,
Yeah.
a committee from each county. So we have a representative from each county that this continues to move forward. Because I know Commissioner Stubbs, she works very hard with this housing, and we hear this conversation often. But it's once there's a starting point, we got to keep moving it forward. And I think all on the same page.
And I think a good start, and maybe that's something we'll add to the agenda on February 13th, is identifying who those committee members are. Because I mean, I think those roundtables down here and the roundtable up in Carmen Emery are, I think, going to identify a lot of those gaps and what you're talking about. But I think we can easily add that of identifying who are kind of the champions in each county to help shape what the toolkit looks
Which
like.
would be great, because if Commissioner Stubbs hears of an opportunity of land or whatever, then you could go to the committee and say, listen, this is what I've got, or this is our need. Help us work this out in our county. That's exactly what I do. You feel that's what we need? That's what I feel we need.
Yeah, and then I'm just kind of shooting from the cuff right now. But then I'm thinking Chris can then take it on and kind of manage it, maintain it.
Yeah, that whole concept, absolutely, because part of the challenge is the loss of information, right? We're losing tax dollars for people driving to Cortez to go shopping. We're also losing that information that people have. You just mentioned that, you know, the city of Bluff might have information about a development, but are they talking to the city of Green River or even the city of Monticello about it? No, not necessarily. And so that information must be carried forward. So the concept, again, that this is still all coming to fruition. I've only been here for a couple of months. It's been a very short learning curve. I was introduced, I went to the National League of Cities conference in Salt Lake City just before Thanksgiving, and while I was there, I met an entity called Ivory Innovations. They're actually based out of the University of Utah. That just happens to be their umbrella, but their whole thing is about connecting resources for affordable homes in rural communities. They're a national program, and they've already stepped forward to say they would be happy to lead monthly or even bi-weekly virtual conversations about sharing information and ensuring that everyone is at the table and has one spot that they know that they can check in with to say, hey, this is happening right now, or this just happened. How can we move that forward to either strategize in a better way or say, that's not working for us, we need to drop it and change and pivot to do something else. So they're very happy to be part of this conversation. They won't be here at the 13th meeting because they'll be at a conference, but they will be coming to the meeting in April for Emory and Carbon County. And the idea is again, whether it be Chris or CERTA or me or someone, but there will be frequent meetings that anyone can tie into to continue those conversations. And there will be a strategic plan around, once we have these meetings, around what next steps are. My biggest pet peeve is having a meeting and saying, great, thank you, and then walking out the door and never coming back to that project again. This is about taking steps forward so that the entire region is better in the long run.
So I just want to throw this out there. So we talk a lot about keeping our own dollars here. So realistically, in my mind, I'm looking at it that in order to have affordable housing, we really need a developer to come in. We need someone that can buy the land and then turnkey property that people come by. And that's really difficult for someone in our area to do. But with that being said, could we have a developer work with our locals as subcontracting? And Talia's shaking her head like, yep, I see this. That's kind of what I see happening. So these people are not left out of that picture, but we still get what we need.
I've already have introductions with Jared Barrett and a developer who's very interested in coming here. They've already
I like that.
virtually, and I completely agree with you. It's about building up our workforce as well and ensuring that there are living wage jobs that are built into this concept. You can't be building homes and then again not having jobs for people to live
Right.
here. So
Okay.
that infrastructure and that ecosystem would all be built in based on these conversations.
I like it.
One of the hardest thing to find is properties. People there, for instance, in the area that I've been concentrating, I go and map lots and I go find out who owns it. And most of the families that live here a long time, they want to leave it for their children in case they come back. That's one thing. The other one is the trust in the outside and trying to match its infrastructure. I mean, the two communities like Monticello and Blanding, they're surrounded by either federal land or farmland, and so it kind of makes it hard. So the process, this is my fourth year of looking for property. And I probably have it all mapped out, what's available, what's not available, trying to work with different groups and while keeping it quiet, because my husband and I have bought different properties in town, and before there's times where my husband told his best friend that we were going to buy this property, and guess what? The best friend went and bought it the next day. So
Is that still your best friend now?
that was his best friend.
Is it still your best friend?
But you know what I say? So it's kind of hard to kind of trying to keep it to yourself. And anyway, but yeah, this very interesting. I think what I'm trying to say, like I put in all these years, doing this, and when I'm gone, somebody starts all over again. So that's the reason it would be nice to have those meetings keep going, because they can say, you know what, I'll serve and try. Commissioner Stubbs already checked with them 3 times. They say no. Anyway, I don't know. Maybe they'll say yes, but.
I just wanted to add,
Sure.
so as far as like continuing forward with finding private land and working on the land that we have available for housing, Una has started doing that also. So we have a collaboration of that. And then my hope is that we can have our micro developers. We have a lot of people locally who want to become developers, which I think would be better in the long run if we can help with that. And then the other thing too that I would suggest is I've gone through this process is economic development directors really need a little bit of training themselves on what the housing front looks like. I don't think that we all have that same foundational information. So my hope is that as we have these stakeholder conversations, we can figure out what those training resources can look like, and maybe add them into how we're doing stuff, like even for our own conferences where we do a lot of education. And the other thing too is I'm really grateful to CERTA, because I don't think, as broad as what Una presented and what we could see the possibilities being, we could do here realistically. And so I appreciate them stepping in to do that. And I also wanted them to tell you a little bit about what housing help they are already doing, because it just made sense to have them doing that. So I really want to thank Jade and Jerry, because that's a big ask, and they're the ones traveling to DC instead of me and Max. So I'm grateful.
I'm going to have Chris come up
Okay.
and explain the housing projects.
Perfect.
Now, Chris, remember in our meeting, it's a howdy.
It is. It is a howdy.
We give him a bad time.
I don't forget anymore.
I know you don't.
Yeah, thank you for having us again. I think that overall, you all can see the overall vision here. Like, that's what CERTA does. we culminate everything together, try to make everything a one-stop shop, so that we can get, use grant funds to be able to get the most services out of things. So, even my job, I do housing and weatherization. I also help with the single family rehabilitation program. So truly, I am the housing program manager there. I try to keep my, hands into the cookie jar and make sure that everybody is being serviced as well as possible. Some folks, we can use weatherization to improve their homes, further do that through single family rehabilitation. And then that also gives me the ability to lean in on contractors and understand what's going on for my housing program. I'll just give you a quick update of how things are going towards housing specifically. So USDA over the past year and a half has struggled with funding and things like that. So we are still on board. We are still working through things. Currently, I have 4 participants going to build. So that's 4 homes in Carbon County that we're working through just to maintain the grant. After that, so I've already purchased six lots in Emery County to start working in that area. I hope to fulfill that group in the next 6 months so that I can start overlapping grant funds and be able to get projects working so that I don't have any pause in between. And then my eyes are set towards this area immediately after. So we have spoken with Jared Barrett in the past to maybe come on as some kind of consultant or even the general contractor. Not saying that, a lot can happen in that period of time. So maybe we bring in somebody, but that would just be a general contractor. That wouldn't necessarily, we've talked about micro contractors, getting plumbing, electrical. We would love to bring that all in, and part of this toolkit, we would like to, find the contractors that are in each area so that we can utilize them, and to incentivize them and keep them around. We can use them in our other programs as well, in our weatherization program, our rehabilitation program. So it truly is just a culmination that will help the overall goal of the whole entire region, and so that's our intent there. But yeah, eventually I would love to get down into this area. That's my goal. And, we love this area and we want to make sure that you all are thriving here too.
Right.
I have a question, and I don't know the name of the program. It's the one that where you build equity by helping build your home.
So that's my USDA self-help.
So that's the one you're talking about. Because about 3 years ago, I talked to somebody from your office. They said they were planning to bring into the blending area in this year. Is that still a possibility?
So we're still working on that. It probably won't be this year.
Okay.
We had a lot of pause and delay due to USDA not being able to have the funding.
Mm-hmm.
The USDA self-help program is very, it's targeted towards rural. It's a very limited funding amount that they have. It's very competitive.
Mm-hmm.
Where we have built, we've built some homes through the program. We have gained priority. And that's why I say, I have to keep the progress going either way. No matter where I'm building, I have to make it happen. We've wanted to move down into this area for a while, but maintaining that continuation of grant funding and things like that, we've had to make sure that we're moving forward and staying on that priority list.
Just President Trump was talking about a new program that he's trying to start. So if you have a retirement fund, that you can use that for a home without any penalties. And I think if that can be implemented, it's going to help.
Yeah.
In some area, it won't help everybody.
And there are a lot of programs that are coming out that they're trying to do through the federal dollar.
Yeah.
USDA also has another program that is very similar to my self-help program.
Uh-huh.
The funding looks very similar, but it's actually through a bank, so
Mhm.
banks can tap into the resources that I have with some slight barriers that they have to go through that I don't.
Yeah. But if somebody have a $500,000 in saving,
Mhm.
and if they can get the money and buy a home or do something, the home value is just better than in the saving. So it's gonna be a win-win situation. I think if that passes, whatever it had to pass, it's gonna be one area that we can see improvement
Right.
on housing too. So
Right.
we need many areas.
Yeah, yeah, and that is it. That's why we want to look at it this very broad scope,
Mhm.
because there are, you got young families, you've got, workforce housing that needs to be done, affordable housing, senior housing. There's just so much to it that it's going to take more than just me to get the solution to this problem. But as we work together, we can make things better for sure.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Anything else?
Well, I just want to mention you hit the nail on the head when you touched about, I saw a piece of property and I loved it, and then I told my best friend, and the next thing I knew, they bought the property. And that is a problem, right? Especially in rural communities, everyone knows everyone,
Mhm.
and everybody knows what could maybe be for sale, maybe not. And that's part of this housing foundation kind of concept. In fact, the city of Monticello, who also happens to be here, they were kind enough. They actually pointed out a very large parcel here in Monticello that could be for sale, that is not for sale, but they suggested approaching the owner and having a housing trust, having the ability to put a parcel into something that could not be touched only for housing, is something that would be coming out of these conversations. And so I'm already, as Talia mentioned, I'm already sourcing. Right now I'm just setting my sights on 10 acres or above that are already owned by one of our local stakeholders that could or they should have housing on it. These are parcels that we're going to be talking about on February 13th and in future meetings, because we already have the property, or somebody in this coalition already has the property. So let's talk about next steps and what kind of housing we want to put there, and if that makes sense for the region and the community as a whole. So absolutely, thank you for bringing
Thank
that
you.
up.
I just want to add and just say thank you. Thanks to Talia and Mac for getting this project started, and laying the base work for what we're going to do over the next 8-ish months, 10-ish months now.
It's gonna be fast.
But
Hold
but
on.
to that, I think we're going to identify some other strategies. So Chris mentioned the strategies we're currently working on, but I think there should be more strategies identified that then we'll be proactive on working on. And then also, just to add to what Una and Commissioner Stubbs are saying, if you do identify property, last legislative session we were appropriated some funds so that we could acquire the property for our housing program. So if you do come across property that could be sold,
I'll just whisper in your ear.
yeah, let us know, because
Don't tell your best friend.
because that's what we've already done that in Emery County. We just tied up 8 lots there for 6 lots for our next group. So the Blanding plan, that's still there's a local nonprofit here that's willing to sell those lots to us, and they've promised us until we get the funds turned over from the Emery County lots to buy those. So, but if what I'm trying to say is, if you do identify some, let us know, because we do have mechanisms in place that we could also secure those before, someone from
Before your
California or Colorado
Yeah.
comes. Yeah. So thank you.
Thank you for coming. We appreciate the information and for working with our team as well, because I think the more we collaborate, the better we can do in our counties. And so we appreciate you coming down.
Yeah,
And anything
absolutely.
you need from us, let us know.
Thank you. I will leave
Okay.
you with a thank you, as well as if you want to maybe put a folder on your calendars. Right now, I'm looking to create a tour that would be for NACO, which is the National Organization of Counties, that would be here visiting for a tour for this project. Right now, the dates are the 19th of March through the 21st. That's not set in stone yet, but that's what we're working on. Steve Waldrop, the state housing director, is looking to come for that tour as well over those days. So I would love them to be able to meet with you, or at least have an introduction, or maybe you come with us as we go on a tour, maybe to Jared's new property that he'll be opening up in Blanding, or a variety of others. The tour again is just coming together now. This really just came into our world in the past 48 hours. So it's something that we haven't really put together yet, but we know that it will be happening in springtime. And right now those dates are looking like the 19th through the 21st of March.
Okay.
You can find us on our website and just send us any invite you have. And
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay,
put in
thank
our
you.
calendar.
We appreciate
Thank
you guys
you.
coming down.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, and thank you, Talia, for being here as well.
No, thanks, Greg.
Okay. I need a motion to adjourn our work session.
You want to make a motion to adjourn? I'll make a motion to adjourn work session.
Okay, do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, all in
Madam Chair.
favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, thank you.